Good afternoon, everybody. Happy 4th of July. We are live here tracking the tropics now. Invest 92L, just off the coast of Florida, working its way northeast towards the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina coast. So, a little bit to talk about here. Overall, nothing to really stress about at this time. We just received some new data from the National Hurricane Center. We are now up to a 70% chance of development, relatively high chance of development. We will probably see a tropical system develop here, whether it's a depression or a tropical storm here over the next 24 to 48 hours. And we will see some effects of that here. Nothing real major, but we're going to be looking at, some increased rain chances, maybe a little bit breezier along the coast. Absolutely 100% rip current risk here at the beaches. So if you are heading to the beaches for the holiday weekend, don't cancel any of your plans. However, be cautious if you're in the water. We will be having some major rip current risks and some high seas out there associated with this. Overall, right now, nothing really happening along the coast here. We have a few pop-up showers that have formed here and there, but really nothing major. There are some outer bands here working their way in towards the Garden City, Murrells Inlet, Litchfield Beach, and Georgetown areas. So you want to be cautious of that if you're on the beaches here today. Right now, something interesting. We do have the hurricane hunters currently flying into this storm. And you can see the area of low pressure is down here off of the North Florida and eastern Georgia coast. Right here is the identified center of low pressure. So they're going to be investigating, kind of seeing what's going on and seeing what we need to do. But I'll be honest with you, don't be surprised if we see some tropical storm warnings and watches start being issued sometime later today into this evening. We will probably most likely see that issued. Overall, like I said, really nothing too concerning as far as impacts go. Wind, not going to be an issue. All the heavier winds are going to stay off out to sea just a little bit here. But this is a very lopsided storm, and it's going to be kind of throwing some convection in our way. Yes, for sure. We're going to see, the possibility of about 1 inch to 2 inches of rainfall. We'll take a look at some models here and kind of determine when we might see that rainfall as we move throughout the next 24, 48, 72 hours, and kind of paint the picture of what's going to happen here as we go throughout the next couple of days. But please, by all means, do not cancel any of your 4th of July weekend plans. This is not going to be a washout, no widespread weather event. This is going to be very scattered, normal summertime-like weather, especially along the coast, but we will see those increased rain chances primarily Saturday night into Sunday as we kind of move into the weekend here. So let's take a deep dive into this and see what exactly is going on. So we're going to pull up our models here. We're going to be looking at tropicaltidbits.com. Okay, this is our models that I choose to look at. Right now we're looking at the European model here, and as you see, that low has formed, and working through the afternoon and into the evening hours. Hurricane hunters, like I said, are investigating this, so we'll probably have some data on that probably by the 8 p.m., maybe earlier, hopefully, depending on how quickly they can collect that data and get everything issued. But I would say by the 8 p.m. Advisory, we might see some tropical storm warnings or at least watches issued this evening. But as we work through into Sunday, you can see that convection kind of working in here really early Sunday morning through the night into Saturday into Sunday, and then eventually that low makes its way inland. And we'll look at the track here for the spaghetti models here in a little bit, but we'll take a peek here at the GFS, and then we'll hone in a little bit deeper into what it looks like a little bit closer to home here. So just taking a peek out here, you can see that low forming Saturday into Sunday. Those rain chances kind of increase as we go throughout the overnight hours. And then eventually into Monday, still some lingering showers, and then eventually out of here and gone. So really nothing overall too crazy as far as tropical weather goes. Typical normal summertime weather. You probably won't even realize that there's a storm if none of us were even talking about it, to be honest with you. But let's take a look here. This is the HWRF model. This is going to bring things a little bit closer to home. We'll backtrack here to today. So this will be about 1 o'clock today. Moving through, you can see that the center of pressure here is going to be 1007 millibars, so that's a very weak system here. It doesn't look like models are not trending to make this thing some extravagant storm. This actually brings it a little bit further north and making, I guess you could call it a landfall in North Carolina around the Wilmington area at 1005 millibars on Sunday, between Sunday evening or Saturday evening and Sunday morning. So very late in the evening. We can take a look at the HMON, and this is going to be out today and into, this is going to keep it very weak, kind of meandering around out there a little bit, and then eventually making what could be a landfall a little bit north of North Myrtle Beach in the North Carolina area. So what I'm looking at here on this model, majority of what I'm looking at here isn't really the strength of the storm itself. It's actually the outer bands here, the convection. What we're looking at here for rainfall and things like that. The good news is that the majority of the rainfall looks like it's going to be occurring in the overnight hours, Saturday night into Sunday. So really nothing out there to mess up your plans too much as we go throughout the next couple days here. We will see the normal scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some of them may be heavy at times. We're going to see those increased winds along the coast, which is perfectly normal, and those rip current risks. Let's look at the FSA and take a peek at what that looks like here. So this is going to be into tomorrow. Still a very, very weak storm here. Not a whole lot going on with it, but this does bring it a little bit further south towards the Charleston area as far as landfall. And this would be overnight Saturday into Sunday morning. You can see that convection moving in with some of those outer bands, dropping some pretty heavy rain at times in the overnight hours, and eventually making landfall just south of Myrtle Beach here. Actually is where this low kind of wants to make landfall here, the center of circulation there, and then eventually kind of redevelops right over top of our area. So continuing that northwesterly flow here, and then eventually washing back out to sea here over the next couple days into Monday and Tuesday. So we can take a peek at the FSB and look at that, see where that brings us here. And we're going to have, with the hurricane hunters being in there, we're going to have a lot better model data here, because we're going to be able to plug in their readings to the models and kind of get a little bit better picture of what this actually looks like here right now as we're going through the storm here. So the FSB here, actually very, very weak storm as well, making landfall somewhere around between Charleston, Murrells Inlet area, and still a very, very weak storm, but the convection, you can see some of those outer bands bringing some showers and storms. So this one actually gives a little bit heavier showers and storms up in the North Carolina area, the Wilmington and into Lumberton, those areas as well. So, but really, overall, not a whole lot to really stress about here. If you're out on the beaches, watch the water, be careful of the rip current risks, and be mindful of what's going on while you're swimming in the ocean. Want to pay really, really close attention. We don't want to see anybody get injured or anything like that. So, or worse. So you want to be really, really careful if you're out and about in the ocean and swimming. Stay close to shore. Be mindful of what's going on. let's check in here really quick to these outer bands kind of making their way in towards the Georgetown area, Litchfield Beach. Looks like they're kind of falling apart a little bit as they move into the coast here. But definitely, if you're on the beaches or out and about here, you will be looking at some scattered showers and storms as these couple outer bands here start working their way in. Overall, the hurricane hunters are making their way to start circling around. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see the little plane icon here, making their way in to start collecting some data from this storm. Right now, as we are out where they're at currently, surface pressure 1017 millibar, wind data 39 degrees 14 knots. So not a whole lot of data coming in as of yet, but we'll start as they get a little bit closer to this center of low pressure here. They'll start being able to get a little bit more closer, more accurate data as they fly around. So curious to see what they find here over the next couple hours. Like I said, maybe they'll release some of that data a little bit earlier today, but not 100% sure when that data will come out. It may be the 8 p.m. advisory this evening when they start releasing things. But like I said, don't be surprised if we see some tropical storm warnings along the coast here as we move throughout the evening and into the overnight hours. Overall, nothing really stressful to be worried too much and concerned too much about here. This is a very typical front comes down, stalls out, low pressure forms, tropical storm forms. Sometimes even hurricanes can form. But right now, if the center of circulation were vertical with the actual rotation out there, so if we had two levels of rotation, upper and lower level of rotation, we would have some concerns about the possibility of some intensification here with this. However, that's not the case on this, so we're not really too worried about anything intensifying here, and models are concurrent with that as well. So everything's kind of agreeing, but we're going to keep a close eye on everything. I will be the first to let you know if any warnings are issued. I'm going to be following this very, very closely. Tune in to our social media, whether it's Twitter or Facebook. We will have updates as we go hour by hour here over the next couple hours, and as soon as we have some data released from this flight on from the hurricane hunters, I will make sure that data gets out to you guys ASAP. But thank you for tuning in here today and watching along. That's really all I have for you for this update. We'll probably have another live update maybe this evening if things really start to change. Definitely tomorrow. May have 2 updates tomorrow live, but maybe we'll get to chase something here. I don't know. We'll have to see what this is looking like. But definitely stick in there. Tune in often. Check the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter page. Twitter's going to be the best place to get most of the live updates, as we do post to Twitter pretty regularly. So if you don't follow us on Twitter, it's at MBAwareWX on Twitter. So give us a follow. Head on over to our YouTube page, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that little bell button, because when we go live, you'll get notifications on that as well. So, but thank you for tuning in here today for this quick update. I'll have more information as this flight data starts coming in from the hurricane hunters, and I'll check back in with you here in a little while. Maybe we'll have another live video this evening. Not 100% sure, but we'll see what the data looks like. So overall, watch out for those potential watches and warnings being issued here along the coast later today, maybe into the evening. We'll see what happens there. But you guys stay safe, and I'll make sure